is Whisper Sister, and this is a Whisper Rune reading video for YanniTime. You sort of outlined your situation in your message to me, and the issues that you're struggling with are definitely things that I can relate to. Questions of relationship and independence and connection, and it sounds like you're kind of questioning what's reasonable to expect from your relationship, and also sort of how you can take responsibility for the parts that may be your own personal issues, and issues of self-growth, independent of the relationship. I'm gonna try to remain objective and just sort of let the runestones direct the video, because it's definitely, like I said, it's something that I can really identify with. A lot of the questions that you're grappling with and asking yourself. And the jury is still out on whether or not I have made the best choices in my own, I don't want to impose my advice or my opinions on this, because, yeah, honestly, I'm actually struggling with a lot of the same things at the moment, and I'm still not sure whether I'm qualified to offer any advice on this subject, because it's definitely a big question in my mind still as well. So yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm gonna just try and keep my own thoughts to a minimum, because I don't want to influence your decision. It sounds like this is a decision that it's one of those tough decisions that really only you can make for yourself. But what I do hope to be able to do with this is offer you a bit of a prompt to, I'm hoping that for me, when I use the runes in this kind of a context, they always seem to give me something to think about, a new way of looking at the situation, or at least an area to kind of focus on, and yeah, just kind of a bit of a cue as to what I can consider, and yeah, you know what I'm saying, I'm sure. So, okay, here we go. Alright, okay. noise going on right now. There's planes and helicopters and stuff, so hopefully that's not too distracting. Alright, so the blank rune basically represents the unknown and the unknowable. Blank is the end, blank the beginning. This is the rune of total trust, and should be taken as exciting evidence of your most immediate contact with your own true destiny, which time and again rises like the phoenix from the ashes of what we call fate. The appearance of this rune can portend a death, but that death is usually symbolic and may relate to any part of your life as you are living it now. Relinquishing control is the ultimate challenge for the spiritual warrior. Here, the unknowable informs you that it is in motion in your life. In that blankness is held undiluted potential. At the same time, both pregnant and empty, this rune comprehends the totality of being, all that is to be actualized. Drawing the blank rune may bring to the surface our deepest fears. Will I fail? Will I be abandoned? Will it all be taken away? And yet our highest good, our truest possibilities, and all our fertile dreams are held within that blankness. Willingness and permitting are what this rune requires, for how can you exercise control over what is not yet in form? The blank rune often calls for no less an act of courage than an empty-handed leap into the void. Drawing it is a direct test of faith. The unknowable represents the path of karma, the sum total of your actions and their consequences, the lessons that are yours for this lifetime. And yet this rune teaches that the very debts of old karma shift and evolve as you shift and evolve. Nothing is predestined. What beckons is the creative power of the unknown. Whenever you draw the blank rune, take heart. Know that the work of self-change is progressing in your life. Okay, so I know that doesn't really give any concrete answers, but maybe it will ring true for you. But yeah, just to be, just for the sake of the fact that that's not a traditional rune, I'm going to draw one more and see if we get a symbol that may give you some further insight. So this one's called Tewaz, I believe, yeah. It's the rune of the spiritual warrior. Okay. This is the rune of the spiritual warrior. Always the battle of the spiritual warrior is with the self. Funding a will through action, yet unattached to outcomes, remaining mindful that all you can really do is stay out of your own way and let the will of heaven flow through you. These are among the hallmarks of the spiritual warrior. Embodied in this rune is the energy of discrimination, the sword-like quality that enables you to cut away the old, the dead, the extraneous. And yet with the warrior rune comes certain knowledge that the universe always has the first move. Patience is the virtue of this rune, and it recalls the words of St. Augustine, that the reward of patience is patience. Here you are asked to look within, to delve down to the foundations of life itself. Only in so doing can you hope to meet the deepest needs of your nature and tap into your most profound resources. The molding of character is at issue when you draw Tewaz. Associated with this rune are the sun, masculine energy, the active principle. The urge for conquest is powerful here, especially self-conquest, which is a lifelong pursuit and calls for awareness, single-mindedness, and the willingness to undergo your passage with compassion and in total trust. When this rune comes in response to a relationship issue, it indicates that the relationship is both timely and providential, perseverance called for is patience. A rune of courage and dedication. In ancient times, Tewaz was the glyph that warriors painted on their shields before battle. Now the same symbol strengthens our resolve to align the self with the self. So to align your sort of ego self, your functioning self with your ideals and your values is what that means. So it sounds to me like, and again, like I said, I'm trying not to elaborate too much because I don't want to impose my own thoughts on this, but it sounds to me like regardless of what you decide to do with your relationship, what's happening at the moment is providing you with an opportunity to learn more about yourself, and that may very well be the important part of this. And once you become clear on that, your decision will probably seem a lot easier. You know, you'll know what you want to do. There's a quote, I don't know where, I can't remember where it came from, but I have it written up in my house. It says, until we truly know ourselves, all others are strangers to us. And it sounds to me like, and I think you already kind of suspected this from the message that you sent me, you know, you already seem to be looking at, you know, whether this is sort of your own issue or whether it's a legitimate issue between the two of you. And it sounds to me like it is a legitimate issue. But in order for you to know how to proceed, you may want to spend some time examining and becoming more clear on what exactly it is that you want, what exactly is motivating you, you know, and then you'll probably have a better idea of what you want to do about it. So it's one of those frustrating positions to be in where you realize that even though it's a relationship issue, you know, it involves another person, at the heart of the matter, it's about you and your relationship with yourself, and taking some time to find out what's really important to you, what you need, what your values are, what your expectations are, and then being responsible for those. Yeah, and then I guess, you know, patience and the unknown. It talks about taking an act of faith, you know, a leap of faith. So I think the first step is to get clear on yourself and how you feel, and the second step is to trust that. Anyway, I hope that helps, and again, I hope I didn't, you know, impose too much of my own personal opinions on the matter, because it's definitely a question that's very close to my heart as well. So good luck,